Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knowledge Base Workgroup. This is a new name, new workgroup, and here we are going to aggregate ambassador program assets and relevant information under Gitbook. This is a kind of kickoff meeting with a plan, with an idea how do we do this. And first, I will describe how do we kind of plan the roles in this workgroup and what kind of activities we do. So all of these things or the assets we're going to collect will be put into administrative Miro Board. You will find that in meeting descriptions. And also in our channel, what we're using for asynchronous activity will be process GUI channel. So we won't have a specific channel for this. So yeah, jumping into first roles. So one thing we're going to have is content upload. So when we are going to do this, we have seen a little bit of that, like in the Treasury Guild, where we did this treasury management section for the Gitbook. Here it's going to be a bit easier for content upload. So we are going to find documents like text forms, all this information that link to different tools and stuff we use. And we may start to describe these kind of contents we collect and give them what it's for, and can like intro information for this documentation. And the content uploader has all that information, and the only thing he has to do is upload to them into the Gitbook. Because this is like a copy-paste and like quite an easy task, it will be rewarded $10 per hour. Content aggregator, this is a more like a different role. This will be one person who will be in charge of finding every time a new work group or a guild or somebody creates a document, like some pictures, something, add some folder, anything that is an asset. He will drop that asset into this Miro Board or into the process GUI channel. And this is going to be some like a reactive role, like, hey, something happened, you just copy paste that link over and that's done. So it's not something like you, okay, I'm going to work on this now and you browse through stuff. So at the beginning, it probably will be a little bit of that. Hopefully other ambassadors and members will also join in and share the most relevant documents and stuff on to us. And then beyond that, it's going to be like a reactive activity where people will put assets in one single channel that we can check how do we organize that into Gitbook and if it's even needed. At the moment, it's rewarded $50 per month. We assume we can get this work group kind of completed in like 2 months, so it's not that long-term role. Then we, of course, have a content creator. Here it's now more a complicated one. At the beginning, we budgeted like $300. The idea here is that actually the content creator will be rewarded like $20 to $30 per hour. And here what we will do is, like, when we have, like, let's say, governance document or framework document, we have then writing an intro for that. But there could be some cases where in the document itself, it describes what this document for. So it will be easier. You can just copy paste it. But some documents, for example, like onboarding slide deck doesn't have like a slide deck about what this slide deck is about. And then there you will need to write like intro, okay, what this slide deck is used, when it's used, all that kind of meta data information that will be put on Gitbook to share people, hey, what is this for, where it's used. So this will be like a writing activity. Most people can do it, but you still need some kind of writing skills to help people understand all these documentations we find. Then we also have an audit role. This role will be only allowed to be for ambassadors for now. So those will be, so once we have the content and we have uploaded it to Gitbook, in we can do this asynchronously. Maybe we can do meetings, and then it's like different probably than everybody who joins the meeting. We're just gonna reward everybody. And we go through this, what is added to the Git book, see if there are any mistakes, can be done something better. If not, let's click a feedback loop and reward at $10 per hour. Then we have meeting participants who right now, those who come, just those guests who are interested, how do we design this system or how do we aggregate information, they will get these Kimball tokens, nothing special. However, if you are any role, so active contributor, so accepting you're uploading content, you're aggregating content, you're writing content, you are auditing content, or you're doing facilitation or all that stuff, then you will be rewarded $10 per hour for these meetings. And finally, we have facilitation. This is like a generic stuff. There is a slight change here, and so prepare a meeting summary. This will be rewarded around $20 per workshop. So how to prepare, how to usually to do the summaries. Probably once you can facilitators get used to it, they do it faster. So it could be it's around that. Like that's like the average. One thing that does change here is that facilitating will get $20 per hour. Right now, I'm currently being in charge of that. But if somebody else wants to do it rotationally and is interested to do that, then this is opportunity here to do that role. And of course, in the end, once we have the data uploaded, like the content aggregated, uploaded to Git book, and the idea there is we're going to have a bit of like guest facilitators. So we ping in from Polkadot or Cardano or these special like similar like incubation workgroup did, and we will share them our Git book and let them share the feedback of how we're doing. Is this ambassador program clear? What can we improve? And so, etc. And these guest facilitators will get $50 per hour. And finally, how do we measure that? Will be how many documents we find, how many documents go to Gitbook, how many documents are not included in Gitbook, and how many guests we have. These are like the main ideas. How could we measure how well this workgroup is doing? So that's a quick intro of roles and that also and activities. So it gives an idea what are we going to do in here.
Is this information that gets gathered? It's anything that happens in the other work groups.
Basically, yeah, any asset they do. So if they are drafting some document that is, if it's an asset that is going to be used later on, like yes. Onboarding has now this onboarding slide deck, governance guild has this governance framework, strategy guild has this code of conduct, these levels and stuff. Treasury guild has its treasury document that is actually already in the Gitbook, so that's done in a sense. Process modeling guild has these like designs of the processes, like even Miro boards are assets. So everything that is, we have Google Forms, all kinds of stuff, like from inviting to feedback to I don't know what else, voting. All that is shared that has a link we want to collect. Do we use that? That's another issue. That's why it's measurement. Like maybe somebody shares a link to a picture that is used for thumbnails. And technically, maybe that is not relevant, but the folder where these thumbnails are in, that may be relevant for marketing guild. And like this, there are like reasons why we want to make sure that we have all kinds of assets collected.
Isn't this to some extent an overlap of archival?
It is, but what archival is doing, they are working on right now on like meeting summaries and getting our internal information kind of fluid. And I think Andre is also developing some automation on that side to make it easier. And perhaps Andre can share more, but there is a little bit of like that synergy But I think right now, with this work group is doing, it's focused on getting, not to write the documents, but just getting it all kind of designed into like a framework and put into the Git book.
Yeah, Archival wants to capture what happens in the meetings. So any decisions or action items that happens in the meetings. They are working on templates that people can use to make it easy to capture those events. So it's mostly focused on meetings.
This was a short overview of roles and activities for this knowledge base work group.